Rammer Jammer, Yellow Hammer, drop the hammer. It's the Bama Slammer. Everybody, welcome to the show. I'm your host, BamaDave. As always, excited to have you guys here. Don't forget, if you're watching us on YouTube right now, please like us, comment, and subscribe. And also, make sure you click that bell so every time we post a new video on the Smack Draw brand, you get notified immediately. We got content coming out almost every single day. You don't want to miss out on any part of it. Also, if you want to support the show financially, go to patreon.com/SmackDrawPodcast, where you can see our monthly subscription plans. You can get cool stuff like our sticker packs, t-shirts. You can get a shout out on our shows and much more. If you don't feel comfortable with that, but you really want to help us out, you can give us a one-time donation. There you go. RN's holding up some of the swag you can get when you get into our subscription tiers. Also, if you want to give us a one-time donation, visit paypal.me/SmackDrawPod. All the proceeds from our Patreon and our PayPal go towards helping make our brand more successful and help make every show we put out quality better and better for each and every one of you. Also, don't forget to subscribe and follow our Twitch channels. We stream on twitch.tv/puttingyouover. We also stream on our personal Twitch channel, twitch.tv/SmackDrawPodcast. Also, if you're listening to us on a podcast right now, please follow us and subscribe to us. Leave us a comment and a rating. We appreciate your feedback, and we thank you for your support. On this episode of the Bama Slammer, I'm joined by a highly esteemed panel. First of all, he's a mainstay of the Smack Draw brand. He's also a co-host of our Saturday show, The Rewind, our Sunday show, The Rewind. You can hear him rant his opinions on his Mute RN segments, and whether he's talking about wrestling, his family, or his dog kennel business, he's always entertaining and full of knowledge. The man, the myth, the legend, RN. RN, how are you this evening, sir?
I just need, damn, Bama. This man is a professional, the most professional wrestler. Really,
it's easy when you have the script right in front of you.
I mean, I ain't got nothing to say. I mean, he showed it what it is. The man.
It's all pre-recorded.
Yeah. All of this is just pre-recorded. I'm not really here. I'm just,
He's not even a real person.
This is not even a real person. You're all hearing a recording from previously.
Just happy to be here. I told you we pumped. I mean, we planned this a little bit ago. I told you anytime you're ready to go, I'm gonna look out for you. Let's go.
Let's do it. Absolutely. Next, he's a pro wrestling fan. He's a part-time broadcaster. He's a talented musician and producer. His dream is to be the next Jim Johnston. He created that intro music you heard at the beginning of this podcast, the Bama Slammer theme. It is fire. This is Justin. Justin, first of all, thank you for the intro, and glad to have you on the show tonight, sir.
I appreciate it, man. I'm glad to be on. I appreciate the invite, man.
Absolutely. So Justin messaged me when he was creating this, and he said, I told him, I want a little distinct southernness to it, but I don't want it to be too over the top. He said, how about a little AJ Styles? I was like, that's it. That's what I want. So if you hear the theme, all it's missing is, they don't want none. They don't want none. That's all that's missing.
I was like, should I write a verse? No.
It's so great. All right, and finally, our esteemed guest tonight. He covers pro wrestling across all promotions, past and present. His podcast, The Hardest Part of the Ring podcast, drops every Wednesday across all platforms where you hear your favorite podcast. Follow him on social media at Apron Bump. This is Kyle Burr. Kyle, how are you this evening, sir?
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me on. And just so you're not the first one to confuse this, so I think it's my fault. It's the Apron Bump podcast.
Okay.
My name is The Hardest Part. I mean, you can find it.
Okay.
There's another Hardest Part of the Ring podcast. So that was my original idea, but then I changed it.
Okay.
So it's a whole thing, but
I'll just be completely honest. I'm lazy. I copied your Twitter bio. And I put it in.
I have guests on all the time. I do the exact same thing. I completely understand.
All right, guys.
Also, Kyle is a.k.a. the pretty Kyle of the SmackDown.
I don't know. Just call me like Asian Kyle or something, like vaguely Asian Kyle.
Whoa, bro.
Like 27% Asian Kyle. Call me that or something,
Got a lot of white people in our group. We can't do that,
man. Stop Asian. You can't do nothing anymore, man. You can't do nothing anymore.
Can't do that, bro. Listen.
All right. Well, guys, I'm excited to have each and every one of you on this evening. We're going to have a great time. We're going to talk about some awesome stuff. First and foremost, as I always do with our guests, one of the cool things about this show is I try to tie in a little bit of competition and sports themes to it. And so every single one of you, one of the questions I asked you is, what is your favorite sports team? Because I'm going to use their colors to make your Twitter handles, which you guys are all seeing right now on the Twitch channel and on the show. Kyle, you're our guest this evening. Why don't you please tell the panel and tell all the people watching those colors on your Twitter handle. Who are those?
Well, it's a football team, and it's Panthers. It's Panthers noise.
Oh,
Hopefully it didn't just crackle over everybody's ears.
Okay. How much longer before y'all quit riding the Newton train to the Super Bowl?
I'm gonna be honest, man. I very casually watched last year.
Mm-hmm.
The last time I watched is when Jake Delhomme was quarterback, so I'm a little bit behind. But
yeah, a little bit.
like two people that get that reference, but no, one day,
Gotcha.
one day we're gonna get it.
All right,
no,
Justin, your colors are whose?
How about them Cowboys?
Oh man! Damn, bro! I just knew.
Hey,
I thought I was
RN.
like you, bro. I knew something.
RN.
Damn.
I hate him. Hey, RN, I hate him too. Don't worry about it.
Because
I hate you, man.
RN, your team's colors are who?
The New York Football Giants.
Ooh, looky there.
no.
That's commitment right there.
Man, a real fan, you get that ink on you. There's
Love
only a
it.
few things in this world I hate. All right, Cowboys are top number 2.
Okay.
Hey, they might be my top 5 hate.
Oh no.
Okay, so wait a minute. You hate the Cowboys more than the Jets?
Yes, after the Jets aren't a rival to us.
That's a good
Jets
point.
aren't a rival to anybody.
They don't exist.
They don't exist.
No. They're the Clippers of the NFL. Yeah. They're in our building. We let them use our locker room, bro. Get out of here.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, I want to give you guys just 3. I usually do more than this, but because we got a big main event, I don't want to take up too much time. But I want to give you guys 3 statements, and you guys go around the horn. I don't care who starts first or however it goes, but I want you to tell me, is this statement overrated or underrated, and tell me why you think so. First of all, the Impact Knockouts division, overrated or underrated? Anybody wants to go first?
Underrated.
Overrated.
It's underrated to me.
Okay.
Saying over too.
I'll say an under. Anybody want to add anything as to why?
I mean, I think
Well,
it's no, you go ahead. You guys go ahead.
Reason I say overrated is because you're starting to see them go other places. So I mean, back when it was last year or so, they probably did have the best roster, but now they're kind of starting to branch out. So that's why I would say over.
But that's why I say underrated, because like you said, they lost a lot of their top women, but it's still flourishing. It's still one of the best divisions in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
I would say I think it depends who you follow on social media, whose opinions you're listening to, because I see a lot of people saying that Impact has the best women's division in wrestling. But whenever I watch it, I'm like, okay, it's pretty good, but I feel like NXT blows it out of the water.
Yeah.
Even AEW, I think, has more raw talent, even though they
Right.
don't book it as well as Impact does. And I feel like Impact doesn't really have that complete, because Deonna Purrazzo is great in ring, but I feel like her on the mic, she's just very just not there to me.
Yeah.
It's the same with Jordan Grace, not a lot of character to a lot of the women there. It's solid, it's good, but I feel in my opinion, it's a bit overrated because I see so many people saying that it's the best thing going on.
Fair
today.
enough.
I think a lot of it is that there's not enough eyes on it. So it's
That's true.
and they didn't have a crowd. So a lot of that affected their characters and what they did. And as much, I'm one of those people that's not into the crowds as much, but you need the crowds to steel sharpen steel. So if you're trash,
Yeah.
they're going to let you know. So you have to do something to fix it. And especially with Peraza, she came into her own and being the champ when there was no damn crowd. So
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Let's go to the next one. Orange Cassidy's gimmick. Overrated, underrated?
I think it's right in the middle, honestly.
I would say so too. I would agree.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's just so unique in its own thing that's hard to even
Right.
rate it against anything else.
Him
Hey,
and
it
Sting was
works.
the only thing I remember from AEW this past week.
Yeah,
Right.
So.
dude,
Yeah.
that was the best part, man.
I loved
That
it.
was so
I loved
good.
it. I loved it. That's absolutely
Yeah.
great. All right. Finally, Money in the Bank winner Big E's single push since last October. Overrated or underrated?
Overrated.
Okay, go ahead.
It's overrated because it's not really been a push. It's always been so many start and stops. They haven't really to me, if he's your guy that you want to take down Roman or Lashley, like I don't feel like they've built him up enough, and it bullshit intercontinental feud and all that. Like if he's gonna be your guy, pull the trigger. Like you can keep them away from each other and him still be hot and still tear through people. You got plenty of fucking cannon fodder for him to destroy. So like if you're gonna do it, pull the trigger on it, make it, build him up to be the guy to take down Roman. Because as of now, I don't think he could beat, like, just straight Bama's favorite thing, kayfabe wise. I don't think he's on Lashley or Roman's level right now, briefcase or not. You know what I'm saying? So like my thing is like, now's the time. Start building the foundation. Let's go.
You get the feeling that's what Aleister Black was supposed to be for him, and they had to pull that out?
Kind of.
Yeah, I think so too.
Right.
Let's say, Kyle, Justin, y'all want to add anything to it?
I really don't know if it's under or over, but I agree with RN. Like every time he comes out, it ain't too like far behind. You got Apollo. It's like, okay, cut them away from each other because it's just over and over and over and over again. It's kind of messing him up from taking that next step.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he's ready to cash in like tomorrow, but I feel like because he has a year to cash in, right? So
Correct.
it could be like it could be after next WrestleMania sometime, you know. So if they keep, I feel like it's a slow build. I don't think he's gone backwards. If anything, he's maybe plateaued a little bit. So I think as long as he keeps on the same path, I think he'll be fine. So I don't know if that's overrated or underrated. I think it's, again, kind of in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, guys. Now the main event. The reason we're all here tonight is that tonight we are tackling the top 10 favorite tag teams for each one of us. The parameters for this, as these guys all know, is they made up their top 10 list as well as a few honorable mentions they wanted to say. And again, we're not determining the top 10 best. That's a whole other episode. This is just our personal favorite top 10 tag teams of all time. We're just going to spend time talking about them, what we love about them, what we hate about them, why we put them at that place on our list, fun memories maybe all of us have in relation to those tag teams, and just having fun with it. Just a great concept and an idea, just because I think we all, when the top 50 tag teams came out last month, we all started reading the list and going, oh man, we love tag team wrestling. There's just so many great teams, so many great memories, and it's also kind of lacking on most divisions right now. There's not a real strong tag team division, I would say, in any company right now. And so I hope that there's a resurgence of it in the near future that we can all get behind. But we're going to start with number 10, and we're going to count our way down to number 1. Kyle, you are our guest from the Apron Bump this evening. Who is your number 10 tag team?
Number 10, the Usos.
Ooh.
Usos.
Okay.
Do you want me to explain why?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, do they just have like a swagger to them that's like very unique to them, especially considering like how they evolved. Like when they first debuted, they were just like this who gives a fuck team with really bad music. They had Tamina with them. They didn't really get over. It took them a long time to get over, but once they got over, and they had the whole dance thing, the whole I don't know what you call it, the Samoan dance thing, and then they've evolved to what they currently are. Yeah, it's like a whole different thing than that. So just their longevity and the matches they've had, and in that time span, because they've been there for what in WWE for over 10 years at least, right?
I think say 2012 or 13. They're coming on the decade. Yeah,
okay, about a decade or so, and
they're coming on a decade.
Evolved. They've been pretty consistent with everything, and they're really underrated on the mic as well. They're like one of the best guys on the mic in the entirety of wrestling, in my opinion. Yep, they're just so like genuine.
I would totally agree with that. Totally agree.
They're raw. When they talk, you just believe them.
Yeah, believable is the word. Yeah,
absolutely. Justin, who's number 10?
My number 10. I want to get some female representation. I got Bayley and Sasha.
Ooh. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Wild card.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Basically, because they're the only thing that kept me interested during the PC era. Like it was thin. It was nothing going on, and they were everywhere killing it. Like Raw, SmackDown, NXT. I feel like if they could have opened that forbidden door, they would have showed up on AEW. Like they were everywhere.
Gotcha.
Like I just, and the fact their storytelling and the fact that they're as good apart against each other as they are together, and the whole teasing it was good. I think they actually. Now,
have you been a fan of them since they won the titles in the Chamber?
Yes, I've been a fan of them separately the whole time, but I mean, like, I've been a fan for the longest since I remember seeing them. I thought they were dope. Now, when Bailey got there and the whole babyface thing, it was losing me. But so that's my number 10.
RN, who's your number 10?
Steen and Generico.
Okay.
Like PWG, like Kevin Steen / Kevin Owens, like he was is my favorite independent wrestler of all time. And this is kind of when I got into that early 2004, him, Super Dragon, Generic on all that. Like, this is when I like y'all know, especially y'all in the group chat, y'all know I'm the indie guy, like, especially back in the day type stuff. So, like, this is who got me into it. Them two, their subsequent feuds afterwards and everything.
Yeah.
But them as a tag team is what brought me into, like, getting into the indie wrestling and, like, falling down those YouTube rabbit holes.
Gotcha. Absolutely. All right. My number 10 is Welcome to the Uso Penitentiary. I'm right there with you, Kyle. I love the Usos. They barely cracked my 10. I had about 4 or 5 names out there, and I was like, okay, these 4 or 5 names, who deserves to be number 10? I'll admit I was only a sporadic fan because I didn't watch wrestling a lot in the mid 2010s. I didn't watch a lot of that. Actually, spoiler, the man Becky Lynch brought me back. So I've had to go back and watch the New Day rivalry and a lot of that stuff. But just even in the past 2 to 3 years that I've been watching somewhat consistently, they're mind blowing. They're beyond being brothers, beyond the natural chemistry they have, beyond the being able to be twins and know exactly what the other guy's thinking. They're just cohesive. They're consistent. Name a bad match they've had. I'll wait. I mean, they're so good, and they just won their 7th tag team championships. I hope they have plenty more to go. I hope they do more than just carry Roman's bags in this storyline. I really do.
I was about to say.
I hope they give them more.
The single stuff they've done with Roman in the past year. Just add that on top of everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want them to lose that. I want them to level up and be an even better tag team because of the singles work they've done. Absolutely, 100% agree. All right, now let's move up, guys, to the number 9 team on the list. Justin, this time we're going to start with you. Who's your number 9?
I got the Acolytes or APA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. I mean, they were just nasty, man. Like, they made it look real, man. The way
it was real.
The way Bradshaw would knock people's heads off, I'm like, yo, I would never want to be in there with them. And Farouk was just as nasty, man. And then, like, towards the end, when they had like a little bit of comedy to them with the knock on the door and all that stuff, like I like the way they evolved into that, but they were still nasty in the ring. So,
dude, people laugh at me when I say this. I don't care. The clothesline from hell is severely underrated.
Yeah,
severely underrated.
Yeah.
The fact that it was a finisher for a clothesline, that tells you all you need to know. Like, I don't know how you can disrespect that.
Yeah, 100%.
Bradshaw really went like, hey, let's take a clothesline, but let's actually hit the guy and knock him out.
Let's actually hit him in the throat.
Absolutely. 100%. RN, who's your number 9?
Feel the power of positivity. I'm going with the New Day here.
Okay.
Any combination. Like, it's I'll be honest with you. I saw them when they were still doing the like Nation of Islam version with with Xavier dressed up with the afro and the horn rim. Like, I saw them here in Cincinnati. It was terrible. So from going from that to what they are now to being, and it's controversial, they are the best tag team in WWE history to me. Like, the things that they've done, the money that they've made, but all of them on the mic, even Big E coming along, like, you can't deny what they are, who they are. And you know why you can't? Because Vince let these 3 black niggas do the things they do for this long.
Yeah.
Excuse my French.
That's what Bama actually said that to me in the show. I was like, whoa, bud, hey, let's take it easy.
Oh my gosh. My number 9, Undertaker and Kane, Brothers of Destruction.
Ooh, okay.
Guys, come on. The moment they introduced Kane as the Undertaker, as much as we were all salivating for the storyline of brother versus brother, deep down we all wanted to go, what happens when they become allies?
Right.
What happens when these two guys link up? Who's going to stop them? I mean, it was It was just so awesome to see it. Every time the two of them are in the ring together, it's just natural chemistry. I know they're not biological brothers at all, but man, they fooled me. They were so cohesive. They were so much fun to watch as a tag team. And here's something that a lot of big guys don't know how to do. They know how to sell and register as big guys for tag teams.
Right.
They know how to do it. And for singles guys, that's not always easy, but they knew how to do it. Double choke slam, double tombstone, intimidating, scary as crap. I mean,
And the thing about them, like, you feel like they were a tag team forever, but it was like less than a year.
Yes.
That's the impact that they gave you.
Well,
it was literally
because they had different eras, right?
Right, they had 3 eras.
I mean, like,
yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, the time that they spent together would only be like a few months at a time.
Exactly.
Like, never had like an extended run together.
Absolutely. 100%. Kyle, who's your number 9?
Number 9, I'm not gonna call him FTR. I'm gonna call him the Revival.
Okay.
Number 9. It's just like the thing that sticks out to me with this team is that they make tag matches. Because you see a lot of tag team matches that are just like a series of singles matches. But for some reason, this is the way they structure their matches with their chemistry, both with each other and with whoever their opponents are. I mean, it just makes it feel like what tag team matches should be. Mm-hmm. Like they're like generic, but they're like so generic that they're unique in a way, kind of thing. That they stick out, and I think they make tag team wrestling as good as it can be.
Facts.
Absolutely. One of my biggest gripes with AEW right now is why the heck these guys haven't had a legit tag team match in like 3 months?
Literally.
At least.
I don't like the Pinnacle. I don't know about you guys. I'm not feeling the Pinnacle right now.
It's generic fucking it's generic Inner Circle.
I kind of like the individual pieces of it, but as a faction, it just kind of feels forced to me.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think all 5 of them would do better on their own completely. 100%. 100%. All right. Number 8. RN, you start this time. Who's your number 8?
My shit keeps disappearing on my phone. My number 8 is actually the Kings of Wrestling, Claudio Castagnoli, and one of my all-time favorite hometown wrestlers, Chris Hero.
W. Was that how the theme song went? K-O-W. Sing it, all right.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I'm not gonna lie to you. but Chris, like I said, I saw Chris Hero like when he was the wife beater. Like my step uncle, he was like a professional wrestler. So like I got to go to like all the shows here around town, and he was like enhancement talent. So and I've fell in love with Chris Hero. Like, I mean, and like I said, it was one of those things too with the independent thing. Like I fell in love with all these indie stuff. Like I never stopped watching WWE, but like I spent a lot more time digging through stuff, looking for tapes, you know what I'm saying, buying stuff off the internet, pirating stuff, you know what I'm saying, to get a hold of these, LimeWire stuff, like to get a hold of these
I've been there.
Independent promotions, you know what I'm saying, that you couldn't watch on TV.
100%. I got it completely. My number 8, LOD, what a rush, the Road Warriors. Number 8. They were
the LOD or the Road Warriors?
Oh, they're the Road Warriors. They're the Road Warriors. I'm sorry.
LOD 2000?
No.
Let's be honest. We got to make that distinction.
Exactly. Yeah.
Between
exactly.
the Road Warriors and the Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
You're talking about the one with Heidenreich?
We do not acknowledge that.
That never happened.
That never happened.
Go back and rewind
Who the
that.
heck?
Take that off the podcast, man. For right
now. And start. Okay. No. I respect the aura, the ambiance, the mystique they brought. That I get it. They were big guys that beat people up and didn't sell for people. I get it. I know that was their gimmick. That's what they did. But who they were, the Road Warrior pop is a thing because of them. So everything that's measured up to that. One of the greatest theme songs of all time, Iron Man. I mean, just everything about them screamed dangerous, screamed do not piss these two guys off. Everything about them screamed these guys are unbeatable unless you find a way to cheat the win in some way, shape, or form. The Doomsday Device, untouchable, in my opinion, is one of the best finishers, period, singles or tag team. I love it completely. I didn't really know them well until 1996. I was a kid, I was 10. I saw Hawk in WCW by himself. Animal wasn't there. He had a back injury. And so in between their leaving WWE to go to New Japan, Animal got hurt. And so Hawk was by himself in WCW. So I was just a fan of this guy with the red face paint and the shoulder pads. This dude's intimidating, scary. So then at Clash of Champions, I'll never forget this. Clash of Champions 1996, I see Sting and Luger with the tag team belts saying, who's going to step up and be our next challengers? All of a sudden, the curtain splits, and both guys come out with shoulder pads. I said, there's two of them? Holy crap. And it blew my mind. And ever since then, I'm like, okay, these guys are just, wow. And if you go online and you look at articles or statistics or whatever, 9 times out of 10, when you scroll down and go, who's number one in tag teams? It's always Road Warriors. There's so much respect and honor given to them for all the right reasons. They're at my number 8 for nostalgia, but like I said, they're a little bit before my time, but I do appreciate and respect them. Kyle, who's your number 8?
Number 8 is the Dudley Boys. And this is because I grew up in wrestling in like the early 2000s, right? The tag team wrestling is really what brought me, like what solidified me as a fan. And you could probably guess what 2 other teams that are on my list based on that. But man, the Dudleys, that just from ECW to WWE, like how they kind of transition so seamlessly and how they can be like these entertaining guys with the waza, but they can also be these big bad heels. Mm-hmm. Like they're great on both sides of the spectrum. 2 other guys that I think are very underrated on the mic as well.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But ultimately, this is a my favorites list, and ultimately they were one of the best tag teams at the height of my fandom. So for that reason, they got to be on this list for me.
Did you like their matches without tables?
Yeah, it's funny. I watched kind of recently. It's kind of like an under the radar match. It was the Dudleys versus Edge and Christian at Royal Rumble 2001. And that kind of gets under the radar because it's like right next to the TLC match they had at WrestleMania, and they were having the tables matches with the Hardys and stuff. It was just like a straight up match at Royal Rumble 2001. And it was just like an opening match. It was like 10 minutes long, but it was like one of the best 10-minute matches you'll ever see. Right. So they were very capable of having just good straight up matches.
Right. And I think to me, that was like one of the things that was mostly underrated about them is that you only remember the tables and the TLC and putting the old ladies through the thing. But if you actually watch especially some of their early stuff in WWE before they like really got to be in Extreme, and a lot of their stuff in ECW, like you get lost in the flaming tables and all that bullshit. But a lot of those matches, they had real matches before they popped off on that shit. So like that was my thing with them. Like I think they were grossly underrated as an actual wrestling tag team.
I agree. That's why I asked that question. Everybody thinks tables when they think of the Dudley Boys. They didn't need the tables. They just used them.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I agree. Justin, who's your number 8?
Rock and Sock Connection.
I was wondering if somebody's going to have this.
Hey, I got him. Yeah, man. Like, first of all, Mick Foley did way more than he should have did in Vince McMahon's WWE.
For sure.
I mean, and the way that they just work together, they're the odd couple. Like, I know a lot of people go to Team Hell No and all that, but like to me, they made that work, and they set the path for everybody else to do that. So that's why I went with them.
Yeah, one of my biggest pushbacks go ahead. I'm sorry, my bad.
I was gonna say I was looking up. I didn't realize they had as many. They had 3 reigns. I didn't. Even
think so.
They had that many. Yeah, you just get so lost in like their antics and the stories and all that, and you don't even really remember. Like
it was really like short-lived. Actually,
they had short-lived. Yeah, they were short, but like you don't ever really think that they actually had goals.
Right.
So
yeah. I was gonna say one of my biggest pushbacks to people that say I don't like RK Bro, that you can't like Rock and Sock Connection.
Exactly.
Same thing. Same thing. Yep. Same thing. Comic relief mixed with serious. Same thing. So if you can't say you don't like one and not like the other. Doesn't make sense to me. RN, who's your number 8?
I thought I did by now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we back to number 7? Okay, number 7. Yes. RN, go ahead. Start your number 7.
2-man power trip. Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Ooh.
Like Triple H is my favorite wrestler of all time. He's my GOAT. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Like, yes, Shawn Michaels is the greatest professional wrestler of all time, but my GOAT is Triple H. Mm-hmm. Got it out the mud, and if he hadn't got injured, the heights that this tag team probably would have went to would have been. It would have been. I think it would have been something we talked about. Like all-time great tag teams, all-time great eras if Triple H didn't get hurt.
Wow. Wow, you really think their egos would have let them stay together?
Yeah, I think that's what the plan was, to show them like two heels can actually do it. Like I knew it was going to be some backstabbing and stuff, and they were eventually going to break up. But I think that they were set to go for the long run, because it was more so that was when Stone Cold was kind of injured. He was getting into the heel stuff, trying to be a little bit different than he was, and he wanted that. He wanted to be the heel, and Stephanie and Triple H were the perfect foils for him to bounce stuff off of. And Triple H was technically the workhorse before he got hurt, because that was when Stone Cold was still recovering from the neck surgery and stuff. So a lot of the stuff Triple H could have did in the ring for him. That's what I'm thinking. Like, if Triple H hadn't got hurt, I think that would have went down as one of the greatest tag teams and greatest factions of our time if he hadn't got hurt when he got hurt.
Wow. All right.
I agree with you on that.
Awesome. My number 7 is a team I'm sure most people watching this or listening to this have never heard of. WCW 1995 to 1997, the American Males.
How was their theme song go?
Scotty Riggs
and Marcus Bagwell?
I got you, bro. Don't try to play me. I know it.
I say, yeah. I bet. Are you playing the theme song in your head right now, Kyle?
Yes.
Unfortunately, and it's gonna be in my head for the rest of this podcast.
Well, it doesn't help that like every other day, Scotty Riggs tweets it.
What else does he got going on? Let's be honest.
But no, yeah. Again, when I first got into WCW at age 10. They had like just won the tag team titles, so they were hot. They were getting pushed. They had a feud going with Harlem Heat for a while, so there was a lot of energy. I just liked it because it looked like they were two Southern boys having fun, wearing shades. They jumped over the rope at the same time. They had good chemistry. You could tell they were best friends. So there's just a lot of fun. It was a team that I felt as a young kid I could get behind these guys. So they were one of my first tag teams.
A lot of that WCW, like my mom worked for Time Warner at the time, so like. I got all the WCW pay-per-views for free. I got all the posters and stuff. And like a lot of those like obscure WCW things stick with me because they were Time Warner, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like I remember I watched a lot of it.
Absolutely.
Do you still have an American Males poster like on your ceiling above your bed?
No, I cut off Scotty Riggs. It's just
no. I've never owned. Fun fact: I've never owned a single piece of wrestling swag or memorabilia.
What?
None.
Me neither.
None. The only thing I have are like 3 DVDs, and that's it. That's all I have.
Wow.
I got about 45 shirts in the last
all Roman Reigns.
Kyle, who's your number 7, sir?
Number 7, Motor City Machine Guns.
Wow. Okay.
Let's go. They were just like, this is peak TNA when they were red hot, and like peak tag team wrestling. Like tag team wrestling in TNA was such like because WWE wasn't giving it to us, so it was like that was their thing, right? And the Motor City Machine Guns were the top of it. Their matches with Beer Money were some of the best matches they ever had, and in the entire company's history. That Best of 7 series specifically was incredible. It's something that still sticks in it's burned into my brain to this day. Just like the longevity they've had. Like they're still teaming today. Like they were teaming not that long ago, right? It was like last Slammiversary.
They're still they're still together off and on. Yeah.
Are they? Yeah. So it's like longevity.
They had a run playing for him, and then I think Saban or one of them got injured.
Yeah, and they plugged in. They plugged in somebody to be a temporary, but when Saban comes back, he's hopping right back in. Yeah, no, they're still together.
Yeah. So great. Like the chemistry between them is like on a different level than any other team that I've ever seen. And
they don't get enough credit. A lot of tag team moves that you see your favorite tag teams do, they stole from the Motor City Machine.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. I know we're saving a lot of honorable mentions to the end, but I'm just going to go ahead and say 2 of mine right now. Motor City Machine Guns and Beer Money are 2 of my honorable mentions because they brought me back to tag team wrestling. I first heard a little bit about this TNA thing when I got back into wrestling in the early 2010s, and then I took a break after Shawn Michaels retired. So right around that time when I was watching TNA, the 2 of them were just talking. When they locked up and did that Best of 7, I said, you can't find 2 better tag teams in the world right now than these 2. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And as much as I love the Dirty Dogs, I want Robert Roode to go to TNA and find James Storm now. I do. Yeah. You can't tell me right now, I know it's been 15 years, Machine Guns and Beer Money in Impact now would still be fire.
Yeah,
would still be. right now.
Man, now you made me want that now. Like, I'm gonna make me sad when it doesn't happen. Whatever.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't James Storm in talks with WWE for a little bit?
Yeah, he appeared at NXT. I don't even know if it was televised. I think it might have been like an untelevised thing, honestly.
No, he was on. They showed him in the crowd.
Yeah.
Well, he's actually he was tagging with Saban in Impact. But
that's who they plugged in. They plugged in James Storm. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they said James Storm's didn't they say AJ Styles' theme was supposed to be James Storm's theme?
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird now that because it's so like ingrained that it's AJ's theme. It's like weird thinking James Storm coming out to it.
I like James Storm's theme better now. It fits him more, I think. Justin, who's your number? Who's your number 7, man?
DX. DX, Triple H and Shawn Michaels DX. I mean, obviously you got X-Pac and all New Age Outlaws and all that, but the original, like the real DX, like
the real DX.
Like when they were dads running around acting like teenagers, it was kind of weird, but yeah, I mean, they had everybody in elementary school like doing crotch chops and getting in trouble and like it was like a cultural thing, man.
Yeah.
Like they, like even outside of the ring, like they were it. Like you had like Stone Cold and The Rock carrying it, and then it was them. They kind of.
See, I gotta call you on this one though, because like original DX, they weren't really a tag team; they're just two dudes together.
Were two dudes.
Tag team was when they had the glow sticks.
When they had the glow sticks and stuff.
And
Shawn
Michaels had the green assless chaps and stuff. You know. What I'm saying?
I thought about that, and I was like, because I was like looking back, and I was like, so they only had like a WWF belt and the WWE belt way down the road. So I'm like, man, you would think they did more. But just
really did as a tag team, and that's the thing. You think of them as a tag team, but they really didn't
do it.
Not their first run. You're right.
Yeah, it was just like the cultural impact of it is why they got that high, because they really wasn't on my list. Right. I had New Age Outlaws in that spot, but I was like, I felt, and really the New Age Outlaws was just specifically for like the big, like the intro,
right?
Everybody, but yeah, so that's why I was like, I like and trust Triple H. I'm like you, RN. He one of my tops. I don't know if he's my GOAT, but he's close.
I like it. Number 6. My number 6 is the New Day. The chemistry is undeniable. Their ability to just play off each other, their ability to just show the true best friendship they have on screen, the way they like RN said earlier, put any two of them in any tag combination, it's always good. Yep. What the Freebirds couldn't even do that. These three guys can. I mean, that's just it's incredible to watch them. 11-time tag team champions. Do I think they're personally the greatest tag team of all time? No, not personally, but they're in my top 10. And I just think that when all's said and done, we're going to look back on them with such fond memories as all the work they did, the way they paved the way for so many guys to have fun and cut up and just be real. I think they're good. I think that I don't know. I understand the whole push. Everybody says, Big E's already got Roman's name in his mouth. Roman needs to be the guy. Selfishly, I hope it's Lashley because I want the three back together. I just do. Right. I just want them back together. We
called that on the Friday show. I feel like that's what they're pushing toward with him getting the briefcase. Especially with the draft coming up, put them back together, and then they can support him like they did Kofi.
Yeah,
and then you got all those storylines to build off. Like they're already building them now with him destroying the New Day. You insert Big E into that, bro. Money.
Because the way Bobby killed Kofi,
right? That's what I'm saying.
Big E was watching. Big E was watching.
Coming to Vince, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, I thought he was going to cash in that night, honestly. I'm surprised he didn't. But I think, eventually he's going to cash in on Lashley, I think.
You think he'll do it when Goldberg spears Lashley?
Ooh.
I do think that's what's going to happen.
I could see that happening for sure.
Yeah, I think it's great. And another big miss I saw last night, you got Wale running the show down in Miami. Why is it Big E there?
Right.
And it's his thing.
They wouldn't have known him either, honestly. The people that were Rolling Loud, so it's like
they were like, Like that was bad, man. Like the crowd just wasn't feeling it at all, man.
It makes sense, right? Like
Yeah.
people at a hip hop festival, like why would they know who these wrestlers are? But
Right.
for some reason, I expected it to be better.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, they were cheering for Bobby Shmurda.
the Smack Raw family has a lot of black people in it, that does not mean that a lot of black people like wrestling. I get dirt.
Right.
My friends talk shit about me and give me shit about liking wrestling.
Yeah.
As long my entire life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this is not something black kids stay into.
Yeah, I heard Ryan McKinnell say on Busted Open this morning, even if the fans didn't quite know them, hey, you got the cool camera shots.
Right.
That's all they need.
That's all we need.
They should have thrown a rapper out there. They should have had John Cena out there wrestling.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
I loved his album.
Kyle, who's your number 6, sir?
Number 6 is American Alpha.
Okay.
They're very, very short-lived, really, when you look at it. But like, again, just another team with unbelievable chemistry. Like, see, I didn't grow up in the era of the Steiners, but this is like kind of what I imagine. That there's obviously a lot of influence, right, with the American Alpha, and I just love the kind of like the suplexy kind of style, whatever, for lack of a better term. And the matches they had with the Revival and all the other like matches they had in NXT. Well, once they got to the main roster, they were kind of like hot-shotted to the point where it was kind of like it was hard to care about them. But just really great matches, and even like the story of like Chad Gable, like kind of injecting personality into Jason Jordan. I thought that was great too. But I loved American Alpha. I wish they would have lasted longer.
Yeah. I think Kyle and I talked about this on one of the Smack Raw shows. Why the heck Kurt Angle, his last match wasn't Chad Gable, I'll never understand.
Never.
Why?
We'll never know. And he even talked about it on his podcast. He did. Like how it was Baron Corbin. I think he said he wanted it to be John Cena, which that would have even made more sense. But I agree with you. I would have loved to see like Chad Gable or somebody, or even his son, Jason Jordan, facing him.
I mean, yeah, you wrestle Chad Gable, who has not your exact outfit, but something similar to it. And at the very end, when he beats you, you take your gold medal off and put it on his neck.
Give it to him.
You can't take that moment away from him. And now we'll never see it.
You got a star.
Now we'll never see it. Justin, who's number 6? Oh,
Edge and Christian.
Okay.
Edge and Christian.
ENC.
Yeah, ENC. Originally they were an honorable mention. Then I started thinking back. I'm like, nah,
and they jumped up to number 6.
Yeah, I was like, they had way too many moments. Yeah, man. I mean, they started out as vampires, man. Like, I
was in the Brood.
To get from that to like the like that's just versatility, man.
Yeah.
Like the character work, like the chicken heel work, like the doing whatever it takes to like. That's probably my favorite heel tag team. Just the way they made you hate them, and that's why they almost didn't make my list, because I was thinking kayfabe wise. Like as a kid, I hated them, and then I'm like, that's why they're so good.
Hey Justin, I got a fun fact for you. Did you know that they asked Edge and Christian what was y'all's tag team finisher, and Christian said cheat to win.
That's it. Man.
Right.
That's who they are.
That's perfect. But yeah, that's why they got that high.
Yeah. RN, who's number 6?
I got High Energy, Coco Beware, and the Rocket Owen Hart.
What? Get this guy out of here.
That was like the time in wrestling. Like, I mean, a big black dude coming through the damn bird. Owen Hart doing the fake Bret Hart impression with the colorful clothes and stuff. And they're like, they just always stuck with it. I think they were only attacked him for like less than a year. But
I was about to say, I promise I've never heard of this tag team that you're talking about.
I know the name. I've never seen a match they had. Yeah,
they were literally together maybe 8 months.
Okay.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Gotcha. All right, Kyle, I'm going to come back to you now. Who's number 5?
To kind of piggyback on Justin, my number 5 is Edge and Christian.
Okay.
Again, just like I hated them as a kid, but for that reason is why they're on this list, because they were so good at making me hate them.
Right.
And it was weird when you look back. They didn't team that long. It was like less than 2 years.
3 years, yeah.
because well, I guess you had the Brood. There was a period where they were just kind of like henchmen in the Brood and the Ministry of Darkness, but when they were like really like a solid tag team by themselves,
about two and a half years
ago. And but in that time, they made such an impact. I think that's even like a positive. They teamed so short, but they made such an impact in that time. Right. Again, it's like great chemistry. Like some of my favorite matches ever. TLC, WrestleMania 17. They could switch from being comedic with the Elvis and the 5-second pose, but then be like giving concertos to people on concrete floors and stuff. Yeah, the gold whatever, the kinky,
the kazoos.
Yeah. All that stuff. So good, and the stuff they did with like Kurt Angle and stuff didn't really translate to like the feud against each other. Weirdly, they almost like I don't know if they like had too many expectations when facing each other, because their matches were fine, but the feud wasn't that good. But Edge and Christian definitely top of the list for me.
Justin, who's number 5?
And the Usos at number 5.
Okay.
And it's all been said. They started out as nothing. It's like, okay, these are Rikishi's sons. Okay, great, cool. But like, and then like when they finally let them go to be real and dark, I was like, all right, I'm on board now, because they came out there just spitting fire, especially like with them and New Day when they had their freestyle battle and all that. It's just, even without, like I say, with a lot of people, like even without in the ring, and in the ring they got chemistry. I mean, the twins, they can do everything that you need them to do, whether they're heel or face. So, but one thing I don't like is like, I don't like them having splashes as their finishers. Like, especially being heels, I needed something else. I need a strike or something. But that's, anyway, can't talk bad about somebody in my top 5. But yeah, that's why I got them in number 5.
I think that's also part of the reason why they did it, is because heels aren't supposed to have finishers like that. So, so like, again, makes you hate them.
Yeah. Stop doing that.
Stop doing it. Exactly. I love it. RN, who's number 5?
Steiner Brothers. Like, again, they were like Justin said, the suplexy guys are like real wrestler guys, like Taz and all those type of guys. Like those type of guys, Kurt Angle, they always just stuck with me. That type of style, that type of wrestling, that submission-based wrestling. And honestly, they were just like me and my brother. You had Scott Steiner at the beginning before he lost his fucking mind. He was the calm, cool, collect one. Then you had this crazy-ass mad dog Rick Steiner that was literally me and my brother as kids. So, like, they always just stuck. Huh? Oh, I'm Scott. Okay. Big Papa Pump and regular Scott. I'm both.
So you're the math wizard of the brothers.
Exactly. Yeah. No, they just always, besides the Michigan stuff, like everybody used to. I ain't into that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's always tough.
Kyle over here in the chat said, you guys got Billy and Chuck on your ranks.
Why don't you just hold off, okay? We still got 5 through 1 to go.
I was going to say, we'll see. Who knows? All right. I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but I don't care. Again, like I said, I grew up watching WCW, so I didn't come over to WWE until WCW went out of business. I wasn't a flipper, and also I grew up in a more sheltered church home, so Austin 316 offended me, and so I'm not getting on board with that. So I watched Luger, Sting, NWO, all those guys until there was nothing left of them. So then I finally came over. So I didn't get to enjoy the heyday of ENC, Dudleys, and Hardys. I didn't get to. I had to go back and relive it later. So Edge and Christian and the Dudleys are not on my list. They're honorable mentions. They're not on my list. But the one of those 3 that is are the Hardy Boys. I've got the Hardys up at number 5. I love baby faces. Who was more over in that era than the Hardy Boys? Nobody. Unbelievable the way they seamlessly would make that tag, hit a twist of fate, and then immediately get hit with a swanton bomb within a split second of each other. Incredible tag team timing. Would you guys agree with me? Top 5 WrestleMania pops of all time is when they came out that curtain.
Hell yeah!
Oh my gosh!
Absolutely!
Oh my gosh! That's how you know you're over.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That tweet was not wrong. Black people did love Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 2000 Jeff Hardy. Not after like 2010, 2011. I think he was ass, but That early, and a lot of thing too is their run with Michael Hayes. I know it was short run when they were kind of heelish. Like I think that they don't get enough credit for that era when they were actually like wrestling, and not so much of the high flying shit and the crazy stuff. Like they were just a good tag team, like you said, being brothers. Their chemistry was there and everything. Like everybody knows I hate Jeff Hardy now, but that Jeff Hardy is what I grew up on, what I love. Yeah, both of them. You know what I'm saying? The big ass jeans and the fishnets and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
okay, I'm gonna throw this out there, and I don't care if y'all hate it or love it. Shouldn't the Hardys retire together in AEW?
Yes, absolutely.
As a team.
As a team.
I don't care where they retire. They just need to retire.
Exactly. Same thing. But that's the only place where they would do any good. Because,
you said, as singles, they're not going to be as captivating as they were. So protect each other as a team and go out that way. I would. Yeah. Kyle, what do you think?
There's something that sits wrong with me about them being in AEW after making their whole career in WWE. I mean, I'd like to see them in AEW. I mean, they'll eventually be in the Hall of Fame with WWE. Right. I mean, they should be at least. So I guess I'd like to see them in AEW. But if I had it my way, they would retire in WWE just because that's where I became known of them.
I dream, but I don't think Matt's coming back. I just don't. I don't see it. So it's unfortunate. Kyle, we're back to you. I mean, no, I'm sorry, Justin. We're up to you now. Number 4.
Hardy Boys.
Hardy Boys. There we go. That's what I love about this.
Y'all always said everything. I was like the way. I mean, you got Jeff jumping off of stuff like he's in somebody's backyard. Like RN, piggyback. Like everybody, like I don't know one black person that don't like.
It's so crazy because nothing about them screams that like would make you a black person relate to it. But the motherfucking, you know what I'm saying? The rock music, all that shit, like the gold chain. I had one of the like ball Hardy Boy chains. You know what I'm saying? Like,
with the big logo.
Yeah, man. Like nothing about them screams
I almost
black.
got me a pair of Jinkos, man. Right. I'm about to get some Jinkos to be Jeff Hardy.
It's one of the world's greatest mysteries.
Right.
Yeah, I know, right.
And that's like as crazy as that sound. That tweet was accurate, bro. All black people did love the Hardy Boys.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
I don't know why.
Fun fact, one of the Hardys' coaches was Michael P. Hayes. He had a red Jeff Hardy shirt that he wore.
Yeah, he was their manager, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he was their manager.
And they won the tag team titles for the first
weird
time.
Looking.
I get when I heard that, I was like, I have to see this picture. I have to see this picture. I don't care where it is. I have to see it. RN, who's number 4?
Yeah.
This is going to be like an obscure one, like probably people don't know who it is, but the rookie door Masato Yoshino from Dragon Gate, Speed Muscle. Oh, they were like, I got into this weird like Japanese Dragon Gate like groupie obsession, and they're like, you think that New Japan has faction wars? Early Dragon Gate in 2004, not everything was faction. Right. There was no like, you might have maybe 1 or 2 matches where somebody wasn't in a faction. But for the majority, that was that, and them together, they were awesome. Like that kind of what got me back in this tag team wrestling was watching them, and like same thing, their chemistry together, their theme music and everything. Like even though it was a straight Japan promotion, they felt Western. Like you know what I'm saying? Like they felt like a tag team from America, even though neither one of them could speak a lick of fucking English. So and I just kind of fell into them.
So they're like Kai and Tai, is what you're telling me.
Absolutely not. Nothing like Kai and Tai in any way, shape, or form.
Then they're off my list then.
Indeed.
All right. My number 4, Undisputed Era. Namely, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish.
Yes. Yeah.
The in-ring chemistry Red Dragon has. And I did not watch Ring of Honor. I did not know them until they put on the black and gold. But my gosh, even as heels, they are one of the reasons why I don't care if they 4-on-1 attack someone or helped Adam Cole cheat to win. I've never hated the UE ever.
That was how our friendship began. Our love for UE, like never. I cheer for them.
And it goes against every fiber of my being because as a kayfabe and as a guy that loves to buy into the stories, you're supposed to hate the heels. I'm like, why can't I hate these guys? I don't understand it. There's something so raw and real Number one, they're all best friends and they love each other, so that comes out like the New Day. Number two, Adam Cole is freaking Adam Cole, baby. So how am I supposed to hate him? Number three, Roderick Strong is Roderick Strong, the Messiah, the backbreaker, best worker in NXT, probably bar none. So how are you supposed to go against that? Number four, Kyle and Bobby. And there was a moment, and we talked about this in one of our group chats, this last War Games match, I kept going, okay, surely they're going to let Roddy go in first, and that's the way they do it. Kyle goes in first. I'm like, are they really going to give me Kyle and Bobby for about 5 minutes? Yes, they are. When Bobby came in there and they just showed you again why these two are one of the best tag teams of the last 10 years, incredible. And I'll say this right now. How the heck Bobby Fish can do what he can do at 44 years old? Unbelievable.
And with all
unbelievable.
On top of it.
Woo!
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So I'm a big UA fan, and Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish are a big reason I am. Kyle, who's number four?
Number four for me is the Shield.
Ooh, okay. Our second trio.
Yeah, any Freebird rules here.
Okay.
But dude, yeah, they just like, I don't know if we're factoring in like singles success with the teams, but even outside of that, just as a team, I mean the like Dean and Seth were a team, right? For like kind of recently. That was the most recent tag team.
And Seth and Roman before that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and they were having matches with like the Bar and just like every pay-per-view, like very consistently like great matches with the New Day. I think it was like a Survivor Series where they had a match with the New Day. Just like you had three guys in any combination could just create magic, and they had lots of longevity, and they evolved over time. And again, just like a real brotherhood, you like felt it among those guys, and that really like translated into their matches. And just really consistent, and just I loved watching all their matches.
Kyle, did they break up too soon?
No, if anything, they broke up. The thing is, they like broke up and got back together too many times.
That's what I mean. If you're gonna get back together, just keep them together. That was what I was thinking.
Right, because there was like, I guess there was one time where one of them got injured. No, this is when Roman went down with leukemia, right? So maybe at least it wasn't their fault, but because they had like 2 or 3 reunions, and I think that kind of diluted the effect of it over time.
That's what I mean.
But yeah, so I guess in that sense, I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah,
every 2 months, somebody was out there like,
exactly.
Stay together.
I thought the 3 was too many. I would have loved it when they came back to, was it the League of Nations that they came back against the first time?
Yeah, look, I'll say this, though. Every time they reunited, I jumped out of my chair and ripped my shirt off. And you know what I'm saying? So who am I? Who am I? You know?
Yeah, I get it. No, I'm a fan. I'm
I'm right there with you.
Yeah. Let's see. Justin, we started number 4 with you, right?
I think, yeah.
Number 4 with me, I think.
Okay, yeah. All right. So I'm sorry. You gave us your number 4?
Yeah, I did.
No, Justin, you gave us your number 4?
Yeah, it was Hardy Boys.
Okay, there we go. All right, RN, number 3.
The Impact players, Lance Storm and Justin Credible.
Okay.
Good one.
Like Lance Storm is literally my probably second favorite wrestler of all time. Just the sheer fact that he had no charisma, but it was charisma at the same time. If I could be serious for a moment, that was a good thing that they had there, but also his Team Canada stuff he did in WCW, which I think is highly underrated. And to me, that was the original belt collector. He had every belt in WCW except for the world title. Mm-hmm. And he named them all after Canadian, the Saskatchewan hardcore title, shit like that.
That's great.
And then Justin Credible, like the things that he was capable of, he's so underrated on the mic too. He may have been one of the best promos in those like late 90s, early 2000s. So that's my top. That's my 3 right there.
My number 3, Triple H, Shawn Michaels.
Oh,
in the 2006 run.
They were actually a tag.
When they were actually a tag team, yes. I was in college watching Monday Night Raw, and I was so heavily invested in the Shawn Michaels, Mr. McMahon storyline. So that got me heavily invested because Shawn has always been one of my favorites. And then when he got injured and Vince was starting to mess with Triple H, I'm like, oh no. Don't tell me you're going to do this. Don't get my hopes up and then crush me. Don't tell me you're going to do this. But then when it was the Spirit Squad 5-on-1 gauntlet match, and all of a sudden I'm like, all right, here we go. And all of a sudden Mitch comes flying out of the back. I'm like, Yeah. I'm telling you guys, when HBK walked out and then hit that ring and they started doing the crotch chops at Vince, I'm like, this is the best day of my life. This is so epic. It was just absolutely incredible. And again, even to this day, if the two of them ever walk out together, don't follow them. You can't.
No,
you can't.
Let it go.
Just say I'm going home. There ain't no point. I'll cancel my match. Get somebody else. I can't follow these two guys. It's just unbelievable.
Unless it's in Saudi Arabia, then you could probably follow them.
Oh, yeah. I don't acknowledge that match either, and neither does Shawn Michaels. By the way,
what match? Huh?
Yeah. HBK even said I that match didn't happen. I don't even acknowledge it.
He made a lot of money. He's probably fine with it.
Yeah, I know. All right, Kyle, who's number 3?
My number 3 is Kevin Steen and El Generico.
Ooh,
which is RN's number 10, I believe, right?
Yep.
They got me into Ring of Honor. Like, they were like such a unique combination. Like, you had Kevin Steen, like we all see them today, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They're pretty much the same back then, just, one has a mask, one doesn't.
Right.
But they just they were so different, but they had such a great chemistry, even though they had such different styles.
Mm-hmm.
And they like I said, they brought me into Ring of Honor, both because they had matches with the Briscoes and the Age of the Fall and so many other teams, all the the Japanese teams that came in and stuff.
Right.
I distinctly remember, because I was in maybe high school, middle school when that was going on, and I was I remember laying in bed watching these matches and just being so invested in what they were doing, and they would each go on to have success as singles, even against each. They had a year-long feud against each other. But yeah, just some of the most fun I've had watching tag team wrestling was the Steen Jericho matches in Ring of Honor, in the late 2000s.
Yep.
Good stuff. Yeah, some guys are born to wrestle each other. KO and Sammy are. They just are.
You
They're
still see that
perfect.
chemistry today. Yep.
They're perfect. Absolutely perfect. Justin, who's number 3?
Harlem Heat.
Ooh.
Harlem Heat is my number 3.
Hulk Hogan.
Specifically for that. No, I'm just playing. Nah. That, I'm pretty sure that was the first tag team I remember as a kid. Because I kind of got in kind of late, but I remember seeing them these two big black dudes really running it right now. I just remember as a kid, I'm wow, that's different, because you're used to seeing who else, the Steiner brothers or somebody like that. You wouldn't really used to seeing that, but I mean the way Booker T can be now is a little different. But kayfabe wise, his athleticism was crazy. To watch the way that their tag team moves and stuff back in the day was you wouldn't see stuff like that. I kind of see a lot of them in Street Profits now. So it's just kind of how I look at it. So that's my number 3.
All right. RN, are we at, you gave your number 3, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're at my number 2 now. My number 2, keep it going, Justin. Harlem Heat. Nice. Grew up on WCW. Harlem Heat were always on TV.
Always.
I could. Them being actual brothers helped. Booker T's charisma, Stevie Ray's power, their chemistry. You hated them, but they were so good at being heels. They were so easy to hate. Booker T's scissor kick, that Harlem hangover off the top rope. My little mind was holy cow, what a move! And now, correct me if I'm wrong. Because later on I missed it. They had a move called the Heat Seeker, and I've never seen them do it. What was it?
I don't think
I thought it was the drop with him doing the kick.
Was it the kick?
Put him on his shoulder, and then he do the kick off his shoulders or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but
I couldn't remember it because I remember hearing it.
Yeah, but man,
the thing about them too is the things Booker T was doing. You didn't see anybody that big.
That's right.
Do the things that he could do.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I there was just again the moment I heard their music, That beat. And my favorite part of that music now, and Justin will appreciate this, the in the background. I was like, okay, they're the Harlem Heat, and their music's on fire. Their music feels like it's on fire. It was just so well done.
Trips me out as these country ass dudes were Harlem Heat.
Harlem Heat.
Yeah, from New York. Aren't you from Texas?
Exactly.
I'm like, Houston Heat wouldn't work.
Yeah, for real.
It would have. You're right. It would have. Yeah. No, they're my number 2. I love them, and I love watching them tag. Kyle, who's your number 2?
Number 2, I think everybody said it at this point, but the New Day.
Wow.
The reason I have them so high is because, like, you look at like a lot of the teams that we've talked about. Harlem Heat, they tagged for a long time, but a lot of teams that we talked about, they didn't team for that long. They might have made a big impact, but they didn't team for that long. New Day has been where are we at now? Like 7 years. 7 years for the New Day, and they started out as, again, another team that started out with no chance. Like, nobody was into it, but then they turned heel. They were great heels, but then now they've been great faces, and that's really all people know them for. So they've been on each end of the spectrum. They've been entertaining throughout the entirety, Again, guys that have had success as singles as well, and another kind of faction where you can kind of throw either two of them in, and they'll make a great match, consistently great matches through the entirety. Even the beginning when they had matches with like Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, to now when you have Kofi and Xavier killing it on Raw. They're like one of the high spots of Raw at this point. But just entertaining for the entirety that they've been a faction, in my opinion.
I love it. Have y'all watched their table for 3?
Yes.
It's been a while. I think I have.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but I saw it.
I just listened to Corey Bell's After the Bell, and Big E was the latest guest, and he said the New Day formed for one reason. We just want to be on TV.
Yeah.
That's it.
They had to.
We just want to be on TV.
Floundering. They were all floundering at the time when they got together.
Yeah.
Yep. Now they're all legends.
Incredible.
Just because of the faction that they created.
Incredible. Yeah, so much respect and honor to them. Justin, who's number 2?
Philly boys.
Oh, nice.
Justin, get the tables.
Get the tables. Man, one of my friends in, I guess, elementary and middle school, like, he was like this big white dude. And like,
oh no.
We were always like, he was like Bubba Ray and I was like Devon, and he was like, it was the whole thing. But
I love it.
But yeah, man, that's the nostalgia of it. They were good everywhere. You can pick them up and drop them anywhere. They were just gonna work. They were gonna be them. Like even when they were who were they in TNA? Was it Team 3? What?
Team 3D.
Team 3D. That's what I thought. Yeah. Like, they're just them and it works. Yeah. Like, you can put them anywhere in any era and it works. Mm-hmm. So
I loved in TNA when they were in an Ultimate X match against, I think it was the Motor City Machine Guns or somebody. Mm-hmm. But they didn't want to climb the cables, so they got like a ladder and were climbing to get the title that was on the cables. That's just great. They did a lot of great stuff in TNA that I think flies under the radar too.
Yeah, WWE owns the rights to Dudley Boys, but they own Team 3D. So that's why they couldn't be called them that.
Yep.
All right, RN, who's number 2?
RVD and Sabu.
ECW. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, when I saw them face those, I'd forget the Japanese wrestlers that they faced. I think it was Hardcore Heaven, and they went doubled through the tables on both of them. Like, I was like, these dudes are fucking nuts. Like, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't matter who they wrestled. They had dope matches with the Dudleys and everything. Like, whoever they were in with, you know it was going to be an entertaining match. And then Bill Alfonso's ass outside blowing that damn whistle. Like, it was just, it kicked the hatred meter up another notch when you got this asshole on that side of the ring blowing the whistle and stuff. So, like, yeah, that's my number 2.
Mm-hmm. Guys, we've reached number 1. Kyle, who's your number 1?
RN's not going to like this, but the Hardy Boys is my number 1.
Okay.
I'm good with the Hardy Boys.
Okay, you just don't like Jeff Hardy as the guy that Sheamus fights all the time, right? Okay.
Not anymore.
Or whatever it was. But yeah, the Hardy Boys, they were my, everybody Stone Cold was their favorite. The Rock was their favorite. The Hardy Boys were my favorite. I said it before with the Dudleys and Edge and Christian. Like, tag team wrestling got me into wrestling. Like, it solidified me as a wrestling fan. A lot of that was due to the Hardy Boys and how, like, they were such great baby faces. There was something about them. Like, okay, hey, Filipinos like the Hardy Boys too. Okay, it's not just but there's something. It's like nobody can like put like an explanation on to why everybody likes the Hardy Boys. They just have this like intangible kind of like a charisma about them, and just like the TLC at WrestleMania that I brought up earlier. And then they've gone on after the Attitude Era. They've done stuff in Ring of Honor and TNA and maybe an AEW one day, and then they came back to WWE. Like they've had such a longevity amongst like several different companies. They faced the Young Bucks in a ladder match. Like that doesn't even seem like a team that faced Edge and Christian and the Young Bucks in their career. Like that's such like a crazy,
good point.
Like completely different they did it both, and they did them both well.
20 years. You got to think WrestleMania 2000. It's 2021. 20 years.
They still might not be done. Who knows?
Right.
But if this is a favorites list, and the Hardy Boys. I mean, Jeff Hardy specifically is my favorite wrestler of all time, but tag teams, Hardy Boys for sure, number one.
Wow. I love it. Perfect storm. I mean, they know how to sell. They know how to work. They know how to register. They're blood brothers, natural chemistry. They weren't afraid to take risks. They weren't afraid to go through tables. They weren't afraid to actually get on the mat and wrestle. You had everything. They had everything. So, easy number one for most people. 100% agree. Justin, who's number one?
New Day. Like, I know it's recent, but like they do everything right. They're just good. Like, I know that's pretty cliche because the WWE just said they were the best, but I agree. They do everything right. They've had longevity. They turned the crowd from hating them to loving them. They can't do any wrong now. Like, regardless of what they do, even if they go out there and bomb, they can make a joke about it and still get the crowd to actually laugh about it. Yeah. So it's just like it. And now, like we were saying earlier, it's just like now you got all the separate stuff, all the single stuff, and it's about we're hoping it's gonna all come back together, and it'll just be that much better when they all get back together. And so that's why they're my number one, and the cultural impact. Like COVID Mania. I know this is a tag team thing, but COVID Mania was just insane. So
yeah, like most stuff in WWE, the stuff that isn't supposed to happen is what's the best.
Oh,
exactly. Yeah,
unbelievable.
Can't force it.
And if I'm not mistaken, the only tag team all four of us have is the New Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. That's it. Because RN, did you have the Hardy Boys?
No, I didn't have the Hardy Boys.
Okay, there you go. Unless they're your number one. So RN, who is your number one?
New Age Outlaws.
Oh, you didn't know?
And this was another tag team that wasn't as long as we thought they were. But when the impact that they had going into DX with Triple H, to me, they solidified Triple H's extension. Like they were an integral part of his extension, especially before they actually made them DX, when they were just beating the shit out of Texas Chainsaw Charlie and Cactus Jack and stuff, the dumpster stuff and all that. Like, I know eventually just became all about their entrance, but they actually were decent in the ring and they had awesome fucking chemistry. So, like, again, like me loving Triple H, like, I don't think he wouldn't have got to where he went without the New Age Outlaws.
100% agree. It's funny. I've got DX on my list as Shawn and Triple H, but when I hear the name D-Generation X, I think of Triple H's group every time.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's who I think of every time.
Yep, same here.
Yep, and the New Age Outlaws were such an integral part of that, 100%.
I preferred the Voodoo Kin Mafia myself, but you go on. You go off.
All right. Wow. Well, my number one, growing up watching WCW, masters of the Bulldog off the top rope. Rick and Scott Steiner.
Yes, sir.
The Steiner brothers were so good. Just the impact, the energy they brought to the ring, the suplexes they could do, the way Rick could just stretch anybody, and then Scott could come in and lift anybody. They each had individual finishers, and then they had a tag team finisher. How many other tag teams had that? But they did. Right. And again, every time I saw Scott pick somebody up on his shoulders, I'm like, okay, match over. Here we go. Here we go. And still to this day, one of the prettiest finishing maneuvers of a tag team ever is watching Rick come off the top rope with that bulldog. It is beautiful. If you literally sit down and just watch it, it's poetry in motion. The way they beautifully had the timing and the setup of it. The Doomsday Device was effective because it was literally dangerous. But the way they were able to do that bulldog and win, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't think anybody ever kicked out of it ever.
I don't think so.
I think they protected it for as long as I can remember. I think maybe when they fought the Dudleys in TNA, maybe the Dudleys kicked out of it. If I can remember, I don't know.
I forgot that was a thing until you just said that.
Yeah, they had one match, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Broke some cobwebs in my brain about that match.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch it again. I'm not mistaken, but yeah, they tagged for a decade, from '88 to '98, until Big Papa Pump was created. So for 10 years, they were almost unstoppable, and they held tag team championships all over the world. Just every time when you say tag team, Steiner's coming to mind immediately. So when that happened, literally when we did this thing, and I said I'm going to sit down and I'm just going to write tag teams that immediately come to my mind, Steiner's was first. So that was all I needed to know. They're my number one of all time. I absolutely love them. Honorable mentions, Kyle. Who did we not mention that's on your honorable mentions?
So I got so we mentioned the New Age Outlaws.
Mm-hmm.
They were super over. Nobody was more over than them at the time.
Nope.
Beer Money,
Okay.
which I kind of touched on when I mentioned the Motor City Machine Guns. They were just
I've got them too
for those guys. Too Cool, Scotty and Grandmaster Sexay.
Yeah.
Again, just like you relive that, you go watch a show back in like 2000. The entire audience is just lit up for these guys.
Shit for that.
From the moment their the moment their music hits, they're just into it, dude.
Did you ever see when the Dudley Boys did the dance with them?
Yes.
Oh, it's so funny. It's funny.
Yep. Unfortunately, I remember that. Yep, you're right. And I got two more. So the world's greatest tag team.
Yes. Charlie Haas and Shelton. Yes.
Just like basically for the same reasons as American Alpha, just like an earlier kind of version of them. Then my last honorable mention is Team Hell No. Because they shouldn't have been as good as they were.
Yes.
Right.
Like they had no business being as entertaining as they made it end up. And they had good matches too, weirdly. Even in Kane's later stages of his career, they had really great matches against like the Shield and whatever other teams were going on at that time. So love Team Hell No as well.
Great team. Justin, any honorable mentions we didn't mention?
Outsiders.
Hall and Nash.
They were on my list. And I don't know who bumped them, but the Outsiders, 2-man power trip, we mentioned them, but they if they would have gone longer, they would have probably been in my top 5. That's the only thing I wish they had, the longevity. And New Age Outlaws, and just for recency's sake, Street Profits, but I think that's mainly Montez, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But because they're so young, I mean new. I don't know how old they are, but they're still relatively
early
new,
30s, I think.
Yeah.
Early 30s.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe.
So, that's young in wrestling years. You can wrestle when you're 60 now. But
ask Jeff Hardy.
Yeah. And I was gonna put that's messed up. I was gonna put the Shield, but I was like, are they? I couldn't really. I guess I could. I got trios in there, but the Shield probably the most impactful for this era as far as teams go. So
yeah,
that's all I got.
I almost put Outsiders, but then I had to just remind myself, David, you were Team WCW. You hated the NWO. You didn't like them.
Kayfabe, brother.
Kayfabe, brother.
Yep, kayfabe, brother. RN, any honorable mentions we didn't talk about?
I had the Outsiders as well, and Red Dragon, not UE, Red Dragon.
Okay.
Lucha Bros, the Chosen Bros, and then a more recent one, the Foundation, with Gresham and Machito.
Okay. Yeah.
Gresham and Jay Lethal. They were they held the tag title, the ROH tag title, for, I want to say damn near close to a year.
Okay.
Who are the Chosen Bros?
Yeah, who's in the Chosen Bros? I've never heard of them.
It's Jeff Cobb and Matt Riddle.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
They wrestled a few times, like in Japan, but and then they had some matches in PWG.
Okay.
I knew Riddle and Keith Lee were a team, right, on the Indies.
Not really. It was more so like for their feud more than.
Oh, okay.
Like they teamed up, but it was more so
I don't know
their
anything
feud.
Yeah, I was so upset they broke up Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle as quick as they did.
Right.
Oh man, they had such a fun chemistry.
That was the original RK Bro.
It really was.
That was the pandemic, right? That broke them up.
Yep.
I think.
Yeah, Vince
Yeah,
wanted him on
unfortunate.
SmackDown. They brought him up. Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. I had 3 from being a kid and just, I don't know why, I guess I just love the colors, the Nasty Boys.
Nasty. I almost brought them up when you guys were talking about Harlem Heat, but I didn't think.
Right.
Yeah, and that's another reason, because these 4 or 5 teams were always together, so you learn to like all of them. So the Nasty Boys, Los Guerreros, Chavo and Eddie.
Hell yeah.
Just 2 of the best to ever do it in a tag team together. Just
Yeah.
I mean, just so natural, fun together.
That 2002 SmackDown tag team division is like one of the most fun times of wrestling.
Fire.
Unbelievable. Agree completely.
SmackDown 6.
And Justin, you're not the only one to have a female tag team. My last honorable mention, the Iconics.
Oh, okay.
I've got them. And they've said on their podcast and they've said on interviews, wherever they go, they will go together. They will not be singles ever again. So
They need to. That's good.
what do you guys think? Impact, AEW, ROH, WWE, call them home? Where should they go?
I don't know why WWE let them go to begin. First of all, they should have never split them up.
Correct.
Yeah.
That they were your only actual women's tag team that you fucking had in the entire federation or company. And then second of all, why would you release them? Like I don't. That was one of the most out of all the releases. That and Braun Strowman were the main ones where I'm just like, what the hell are you doing?
I don't understand it
Yeah.
at all.
Isn't NWA? Aren't they introducing a tag teams championship?
Yes,
for the
they
women?
are.
I could definitely see the Iconics being the inaugural champions.
And they're having that all women's pay per view as well.
True.
Yeah.
Kira
So I
Hogan
bet
just
money
announced
on
she's
NWA.
leaving Impact, so that Fire and Flavor's done. Iconics could slide right in that role if they wanted to.
Yeah, they could.
Yeah. I mean, part of me says AEW because Sean Spears is there, but I don't feel like AEW would give them tag team props. I don't feel like the AEW wants tag team women.
I don't think there's enough women. There's not really a tag team division for them at AEW.
I think there's too many women, but not enough time dedicated to showcasing the women.
Completely.
So I don't think that'd be a good move for them. But that's their decision.
4 shows and they still don't know how to divvy it up.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. I appreciate y'all joining me tonight. It was an awesome time together. Once again, guys, if you watch this video on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We just wanted we wanted to say thank you for doing that. Also, make sure if you want to support the show financially, go to patreon.com/SmackDrawPodcast, or if you want to give a one-time donation, visit paypal.me/SmackDrawPod. Smash it too. Smash that credit card button and hook us up. Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitch, on twitch.tv/puttingyouover and twitch.tv/SmackDrawPodcast. And also, if you're listening to us on your podcast, make sure you like us and follow us, subscribe to the podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and we'll keep putting out more awesome shows like this. We always thank you for your support. Your feedback is always appreciated. RN, plug your stuff, man. What you got going on?
At Mr.8984 on YouTube. Hit me with the hashtag MuteOnRen and give me something to rant and bitch about. It could be funny. It could be not. It could be wrestling, music, whatever you feeling at the time you want to hear me talk shit about. Hit me with the hashtag MuteOnRen, and then follow my kennel on IG, Route 4 Kennels. That's my boy Stone Cold Steve Austin, the face of the kennel. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Justin, plug your stuff. What you got going on?
On I don't even know. Let's see. On Twitter, I'm at Hill Tactics _. Jayland on the beat on Instagram. Jayland on the tweet is my Twitter for my music stuff. If anybody is interested, I don't really see anything on there. But I got SoundCloud, Bandcamp. I think everything's Jayland on the beat. So just kind of be on the lookout for. I'm about to release some stuff.
Oh man, I can't wait. Kyle, where can we find you on social media? What you got coming up on the Apron Bump podcast?
Yes, sir. At Apron Bump on Twitter is probably the best place to find me. It's where I'm most active. But apronbump.com is where you can find all my social media as well as all my episodes for my podcast. I do retro reviews of different shows through all different eras, 4 different decades, different promotions all across the world. I'll do WWF, WCW, Ring of Honor, TNA, Progress, everything. So I try to keep it fresh and different kind of different types of wrestling on my show. So I've had RN before. We did a Progress episode, and we're going to be doing a WCW episode 95 here sometime shortly. So, but yeah, apronbump.com to find everything with my podcast and with my pretty face.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show with me. As always, I'm BamaDave24 on Twitter. If you want to follow the Bammer Slammer Wrestling Podcast, it's at Bammer Slammer. And also follow the Smack Draw Podcast in our brand. We're at Smack Draw Pod on all social media platforms. You can find us. Thank you guys so much again for joining us tonight for this awesome countdown of our favorite top 10 tag teams. And as always, until the next time we drop the hammer, thank you for watching the Bama Slammer. Have a good night, everybody.